Bhaja Hun Shri Radha
Come on,
Shyamsundarji के 5वें जन्म अपीयरेंस की और प्रेमानंदे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरि बोल। So, Hare Krishna, I've been asked to speak today. So I just thought this wonderful bhajan, I can just expound on it, and also it is a very special month or year. It is being the 50th anniversary of ISKCON. So bolo Shrila Prabhupada Krishna Bhavana Amrit Sangh ki International Society of Krishna Consciousness ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Brahmagadva Gaudiya Sampradaya Acharya Guru Varg ki the Lord Shri Shri Radha Shyamsundarji ki Bal Gopal Laddu Gopal ji ki Patita Pavan Nitai Gaur Sundar ki Ugra Narasimha Dev ki Prahlad Maharaj ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. So this bhajan Bhaja Hun Re Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charna Ravindare. This bhajan was written by a very great Vaishnava poet by the name Govinda Dasa. And this, through the medium of this bhajan, Govinda Dasa is instructing us. It is known as Manashikha or Manasiksha, teaching the mind. And what is he saying? Bhaja Hun Re Mana Shri Nanda Nandana. Bhaja means it's the root of bhakti. In Sanskrit, the word bhakti's root is bhaja. Bhaja means to loving worship. Not just worshipping, but with love. And he is instructing the mind, because the mind is the cause of all problems. Our mind is subtle. We are composed of, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the 8 material elements. And there are 5 gross: earth, water, air, fire and ether. And there are 3 subtle. What are those? Man, buddhi and ahankar. Man means mind, buddhi is intelligence, and ahankar is false ego. So the mind's business, if you read Srila Prabhupada's books, he explains it in many places. The business of the mind is to simply, without, just like a child, it will reject or accept anything without any thinking. Sometimes the mind will say, I want this. Sometimes that same mind will say, no, I don't want it. So the instruction that Govinda Dasa is giving is Bhaja Hun Re Mana Shri Nanda Nandana. Now it is interesting. Govinda Dasa is a Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya. And there are, as we all know, there are 4 major sampradayas or bona fide sampradayas of Vaishnavas. And within the Vaishnava basically means one who is a devotee of Krishna or Vishnu. That is the definition of a Vaishnava. So we have the Sri Sampradaya, those Vaishnavas from South India mostly, that are the followers of Ramanujacharya. If you go to, a lot of you all must have heard the famous temple Balaji, right? So they are of the Sri Sampradaya in nature. Then there is the Rudra Sampradaya that emanated from Lord Shiva. And then there is the Sampradaya, that Nimbarka Sampradaya from Vishnu Swami, and the Gaudiya Sampradaya, whose head is Brahmaji. That is why we are called as Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. And every Sampradaya has a particular rasa or a relationship with Krishna. So here basically what Govinda Dasa is saying, Bhaja Hun Re Mana Shri Nanda Nandana. Now, if you have this Vaishnava songbook, and if you go through the purport of this song, Srila Prabhupada starts by saying, we are only concerned with the son of Nanda Maharaj. And that is interesting. It is said, Srila Prabhupada used to quote this verse, especially for us who are Gaudiya Sampradayas. There are 4 or basically 5 different rasas or mellows that one can have a relationship with Krishna. What are those rasas? One is known as the Shanta ras, a neutral relationship, just like yogis. They sit in meditation and they are satisfied by the meditation on the Paramatma. There is no actual seva involved there. There is no interaction. The second kind of relationship or mellow is the Dasya ras. A typical example or the best of amongst the Dasya ras example is Hanumanji. Hanumanji Maharaj is considered the foremost example of Dasya ras, or the servitorship mellow, or the rasa. Then we have what we call is the Sakhya ras, or the mellow of friendship. Krishna had many friends, and Subal Sakha, Sridham, etc., Arjun, they were all his sakhas. Sakhas means mitra, friends. And then we have this rasa, which is the 4th one, is known as the Vatsalya ras. Vatsalya ras is the one, or the mellow, where the devotee considers Krishna as his baby. Especially the Vatsalya ras is predominant in the Vallabh Sampradaya. If you have heard about the Sri Vallabhacharya, he was a famous expounder of this Sampradaya, where if you see Srinathji, I'm sure you have seen Srinathji, Gopalji, right? So that is, they worship Gopalji, Srinathji or Laddu Gopal as their baby. That is their relationship. And the 5th relationship is known as Madhurya Ras. This Madhurya Ras is the relationship that of a paramour, of a lover. Like one has a relationship with their wife, as an example, or in mundane terms, let's say a boyfriend and a girlfriend, paramour relationship. So because these relationships exist in the spiritual world, these relationships exist here in the material world. Because the relationships in this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Everything that we do here is also being done there. But the difference is everything there is for the satisfaction of Krishna, and here everything is for our sense gratification. Hamari indriya tripti ke liye hum ye karte hain. So if you see, we have friends. Don't we all have friends? Right? We all have friends. We have parents, uncles, aunts, right? We have servants. Or we are servants of somebody when we are working in an office environment, etc., or when we are doing a job. Right? And then we have our neighbors, Shantras, as a very, where you say hi, hello from far. There's not much interaction. Good morning, how are you? Or you meet that guy in the elevator every day when you're going to work. You acknowledge that person's presence and you are nice and polite. So these are the different analogous examples. So Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is the one that is, they are worshipping Krishna in the Madhurya Ras. In the Madhurya Ras. And the Madhurya Ras, these are all specialties. Not to say that one is greater than the other. They are all wonderful. They all have a wonderful place in Krishna's Leela, or Krishna's pastimes, or the relationship with a devotee. They're all perfect. But there are certain specialties. And the specialty in the Madhurya Ras is that all the other 3 rasas, meaning the parental, the friendship, and the servitorship, they are already there. And there is something beyond that, which is the love. That is between a lover and the beloved, which is not possible. Just like, very simple example, your relation, you love your father, you love your mother, but you have your wife, it's a different love, right? As an example, they're all, or you love your friend, your best friend, I love you, I would die for you, they say, but that's a different kind of a love. Then you have your love with your parents, or your siblings, or your friends, or with your spouse. So in this Madhurya Ras, Govinda Dasa is saying, Bhaja Hun re mana Shri Nanda Nandana. And Srila Prabhupada says, we are only concerned with the son of Nanda Maharaj. So one may start thinking, what does that mean? So that means Prabhupada is saying, there are many types of Krishna. There are many types of Krishna. And to some people, when I heard it for the first time, I was shocked. Most people know Krishna is Krishna. But there are many types of Krishna. Prabhupada used to quote this wonderful verse, which was also the favorite of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He used to quote this verse, Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas. Please everybody repeat. It's auspicious. Boliye. Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas. Tad Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasna Vraja Vadu Vargena Taya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam Prema Umartha Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mataidam Na Yatra Agraha Paraha. So Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas Taddham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasna Vrajuvadu Vargena Taya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavata Purana Avalam Prema Umartha Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mataidam Na Yatra Agraha Paraha. Meaning, Aradhya, if you want to worship, then I recommend in this verse, the author of this verse is saying, or the composer of the verse, the compiler of the verse is saying, Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha. There's so many different demigods, there are so many different avatars of the Supreme Lord. Like there is Vishnu, there is Narayanas, there are so many. And there are different Krishnas also. Amazing, eh? So if you want to worship Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas. Who is Vrajesh? Vraj Esh. Vraj means Vraj, Bhumi, and Esh means the king. And that means who is the king of Vraj? No, Nanda Baba. Nanda Maharaj. So Aradhyo Vrajesha Tanayas. Tanayas means the son. And if you want to worship a dham or a holy place, then I recommend, the compiler of this verse is saying, the worship Shri Vrindavan Dham. Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas Tad Dham Vrindavana. And the kind of worship that you should have is Ramya Kachit Upasna Vrajavadu Vargena Taya Kalpita. The kind of worship or the kind of seva or the kind of bhav one should have should be the ones of Vrajavadu. Vrajavadu means the gopis. Vrajki Vaduva. Vrajavadu means that is actually in a very high sense, it's a Parkiya Ras. They were already the gopis. I'm not going to go into so much detail because that's a basic subject that I'm going to be talking about. But basically, Vrajavadu means gopis. And these gopis, so the worship of the gopis is considered paramount. It's the pinnacle in Krishna Prem. Everybody, Prabhupada always said this, that everybody fears God. Most of the faiths, they are all God-fearing. But no, Prabhupada warned, we are not like that. Be God-loving. And love of God, as I explained in these 5 different rasas, is possible. And the most special of it is the Madhurya Ras. So Aradhya Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas, meaning the son of Nanda Maharaj. We are concerned with that. Now one may wonder that the son of Nanda Maharaj, who is he? Actually he is, Brahmaji describes in the Brahma Samhita that he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead from where all the other avatars and all the other expansions emanate. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha, Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. This Govinda, Go means senses, and Go also means cows. And Vinda in Sanskrit means pleasure. So one who gives pleasure to the cows and one who gives pleasure to the senses. Now, Nanda Baba is a Vaishya. He has, actually said that 900,000 cows. So here it is indicated in the Brahma Samhita in the very first verse that here Brahmaji is referring to the son of Nanda Baba. It is subtle because that's what the word Govind indicates. So actually, as you all know, most of the general story that we have, or the pastime of the Lord, that Krishna was born in Mathura to Vasudeva and Devaki, and then he, in the middle of the night, when he appeared, the shackles of Vasudeva broke open, he left the jail, and he entered the Jamuna, and he went to his best friend's home, which is who? Nanda Baba in Gokul. In the middle of the night, Yashoda Maya was sleeping. She had just delivered and she was in her half kind of sleepy state. Vasudev, he leaves this baby boy that was born to Devaki and him and takes a little girl. And he comes back to the prison house in Mathura. But our Gaudiya Vaishnavas have further Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is one of our leading Vaishnavas. Who knows who has heard about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? One famous composition that we sing every day in the temple, Mangalarti, Samsara Davadu. It's composed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Samsara Davala Lila Loka, Tranaya Karunya, Gana Ganatvam, Praptasya Kalyana, Gunarnavasya, Vande Guru Shri Charanavinda. So 8 stanzas. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is one of our very, very leading Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. So he explains from the Hari Vamsha. There is a book called the Hari Vamsha. And in Hari Vamsha, it is explained that Yashoda gave birth simultaneously to 2 kids. One to her Krishna and one Yogamaya. And this Vasudev Krishna, when he comes, he actually merges into the baby Krishna that was given birth by Yashoda Mai. And the baby girl or the sister of Krishna is taken, and then we know the rest of the pastime. When comes in, he takes her and then she laughs and saying, hey, already he's born in Gokul, as the pastime goes. So actually, we are concerned, Gaudiya Vaishnavas are concerned with the son of Nanda Baba. Now when it comes to Vasudev or Vasudev, actually the pronunciation is Vasudev. Sanskrit is like this. The son of Vasudev is Vasudev. That's how it is, with that A comes in. So his name is not Vasudev. When you say Vasudev means father. And Vasudev means it is son. The son of what? So Vasudev Krishna is actually there is some opulence. He's more or less a Kshatriya. He's not a Gwalbal. He's not the Shyamsundar with the extra attribute, which has 4 extra attributes. Actually, Vishnu, Narayana, etc., which are expansions of Krishna. Everything. Bhagavatam's very first verse says, Janmadi Yasya. Very first. Even the first acronym of the Vedanta Sutra says Janmadi Yasya. Janam means birth or everything that emanates. Adi means the sustenance and also the destruction. Yasya means of you, O Krishna. That Krishna who? Vrajendra Nandan Krishna. Yashoda Dulal Krishna. The son of Yashoda. The son of Nanda Baba. He is the origin. He is the origin of all. Just like Brahma Samhita says that in one candle, there is one original candle, like somebody lit these candles, but there is one original or matchstick or a candle that you light and you keep lighting and you get. They all have the same quality, but there has to be one origin. And that origin is the son of Nanda Baba and the son of Yashoda Mai. So that's why he's saying, Bhaja Hun re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. Now, Krishna's lotus feet is also known as Abhay Charan. Charan means feet and Abhay means fearlessness, where there is no fear. If one surrenders to Krishna, there is no fear. Krishna clearly says the main message that we all know, we have heard this verse thousands of times. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshyashyami ma sucha. Ma sucha means do not fear. So when one surrenders to the lotus feet of Krishna, automatically one becomes fearless. And what is the biggest fear that we all have? Death. Death is the biggest fear. Everybody has that in the material world. Right from the Patal Lok to the Brahma Lok. Everybody has that. Deathlessness is what everybody is looking for. And that deathlessness, permanent deathlessness, is only exclusively available to one who Mam Ekam Sharanam. Krishna says, only when you surrender unto me. So, then you will get Abhay. So if you see pure Vaishnavas or Vaishnavas who are completely surrendered or who are of a very high caliber, they don't fear death. Because why? They know they are Brahma Gyan. What is Brahma Gyan? I am not this body. I am a eternal servant of Krishna. Jive Sharup Hoy, Krishner Nitya Das. The eternal position or the constitutional position of a jiva is that he is an eternal servant of Krishna. So Bhaja Hun Re Mana, he is telling his mind, my dear mind, you are worshipping this, you are worshipping that, you are worshipping material things, you are worshipping that Devi, that Devta. Today you are worshipping some human being, making a big statue and giving him a garland, whether it is Nehru, Gandhi, etc., etc., etc. Bhaja Hun Re Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Arvinde, that will give you deathlessness, Amar. Mrityu, and the opposite is Amar. Abhaya Charana Arvindare. Why? Because you know what? You're not going to get this chance again. It's very good. It's going to be rare. Durlabha Manusha Deha. This human body that we get is very, very rare. 8,400,000 species of life we have to go through, and we get this human body. And if we miss the boat, then not necessarily our next life will be human. Depending on our karma, we can become a dog, we can become a cat, we can become some animal, we can become an aquatic, we can become a tree, depending on our karma. Yam yam vapi smaranam bhavam tajeti ante kalevaram. At the time of death, Bhagavad Gita says, whatever your consciousness is, aapki jo bhi chetna hai, whatever your consciousness is, you will attain that state. And he's very clear, he says, if you remember me, you will come to me. Asamshaya, without any doubt. So some people will say, you know what, great, hey, we know the formula. We'll do all nonsense all our life. At the time of death, I will say, Hare Krishna. No, it will not happen. Just think about this. Each of us in our personal experience, something happens, you fall down. The first word that most people use is OS. Sorry, I don't want to spell it. Nobody says, oh Krishna. Very few people. Even amongst devotees, there's some. Or they say, oh my, oh mama. Oh my God is good. But that's barely in a situation like that. So imagine all our life, whatever we have done, that is what we will reap in our consciousness at the time of death. That is why our Vedic culture is so beautiful. It's so scientific. Our forefathers used to name all their children and everybody with the names of the devotees or the names of the Supreme Lord or the consorts of the Supreme Lord. Simple example, kisi ka naam Lakshmi hai, somebody's name is Lakshmi, somebody's name is Narayana, somebody's name is Shankar, somebody's name is Govinda, somebody's name is Radha. Why? Because our Vedic culture, we all know this formula, where at the time of death, we are mostly attached to our family members. Person is dying, old man or whoever, and suddenly they're seeing the family members. Where is Govind? Oh, Govind, take care of your mother. Govind. At the moment, the name Govind came and he lies. Although he is addressing his son Govind, but the name is so powerful, and we all have heard the Katha of Jamil in the Bhagavad. Namna namino abhinna. The name and the named are non-different. Just like a doctor, if he has fever, and somebody who is simply a simple person or maybe an illiterate, if he has fever, both take Tylenol, it is going to have the effect. Although the doctor knows or the pharmacist knows the entire composition or the chemical composition in Tylenol. But it has the same effect. He has fever, you have fever. You both take Tylenol, you both will get well. Simple, crude example that I am giving. So, namna namino abhinna. Shastra says the name and the name are non-different. So, Bhaja Hun Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare Durlabha Manusha. Prahlad Maharaj says, from the Kaumaram Acharat Pragyaha Dharman Bhagavad Iha Durlabham Manusha Deha Tadapi Arthadam Adhruva. Meaning, one should take to bhakti or Krishna consciousness from the age of Kaumar. Kaumar means starting age 4 and up. You should teach your children bhakti. Yes, material things are good. It will help them survive. But survival will be only limited to this life. But if you teach them bhakti, it will go with them eternally. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita and many other places, even in the Bhagavad it says that whatever you finish, whatever level of bhakti you are, let's say you finish 10% in this life, you will continue from 11. But everything else, whether your education, your knowledge, your money, your parents, even this body, you will have to leave and go. But your bhakti will go. Then you continue until you reach 100% and then you will reach the lotus feet of Krishna in the Vaikuntha Dham. Vaikuntha. What does Vaikuntha mean? Vai means no, and Kuntha means anxiety. So if there is a land or a place where there is no anxiety, this world or this material world is full of anxiety. Full of anxiety. Why? Everybody is fearing death, everybody is fearing some loss in business, everybody is fearing loss of job, everybody is fearing, my son is not home yet, it's already 11. Fear, 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 fear. Padam, padam, vipadam. Every moment there is some kind of problem. That is why when you surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Samashrita yad pada plavam, Samashrita yad pada pallavam plavam, Mahapadam, Mangala, Yasho Murari, Bhavam Mudir Vatsa Padam, Padam Padam Vipadam Tesham. Meaning, once you take to the surrender of Krishna's lotus feet, Abhay Charna Ravindare, then what will happen? He will make your existence, which is so difficult to get out. Puna puna janam, puna puna maran. Ei rupe brahman brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev. Sometimes we are doing some good karma, we go to the heavenly planets, Swargiya planets. Then we come back, finish, vacation khatam, wapas. Then you start all over again, depending on your association, you gather your karma, then if it's bad karma, you do vikarma, you go to the Narkiya planets, to the different hellish planets. So, Ei Rupe, in this Brahman, in this universal system, the jiva is simply oscillating. It's like going from one jail cell to another jail cell, depending on the kind of crime one has done. Like there are white collar crimes, they get an air conditioned cell, some of these politicians when they get arrested, and they get even a library. But still, jail is jail. And some of them get the most harshest condition, and they are put in a 6x6 box because they misbehaved, even in jail. They are isolated. So, point is still jail is jail. So, this material world is a jail. So, when we are given this opportunity, Krishna, when you're surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna, he's saying that it's simply like crossing over water that is in a calf's hoof. If you see, not even a cow, calf, which is little. And sometimes you go to India or some places where the cows are there, the calves are there, and the rainwater is there. How much water can be there in the hoof print of in a calf? How much water? Barely, little bit. So it's like, you simply, when you see something like a little water or something like that, you simply cross over. It's so easy. Even a little child can jump over. So our jumping over from this material world becomes extremely easy when we surrender to His feet. Where this material world is full of padam padam vipadam. Every step there is a problem. There is anxiety. Kuntha. This is called Kuntha Jagat. And there is the other world which is called Vaikuntha. So Bhaja Hun mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charnar Vindare Durlabha Manushade. Prahlad Maharaj says that he is a Kaumaram Acharat Praja. You take to this Krishna consciousness from the age of 4, from their very young age. Why? Durlabham Manushade. Extremely rare to get a human birth. And somebody may say, okay, fine, but even you take human birth, it is temporary. Yes, but Vyasdev says, although it is temporary, you can, Arthadam, you can achieve the highest, which is Krishna Prem. Krishna consciousness can be achieved in the human form of life. So that is why Bhaja Hun mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charnar Vindare Durlabha Manushadeha Tara e Bhava Sindhure. Bhava Sindhu means this material ocean. Eshita atapa bata varishana edina yamini jagire. This applies to all of us mostly. Eshita. Eshita means winter. Tapa means summer. Eshita atapa bata varishana. All the 4 seasons. The rainy season, etc. All 4 seasons. Edina yamini jagire. Day and night. What are we doing? Simply going after money. Working hard. What are we working? Eshita atapa bata varishana edina yamini. Din means day, yamini means night. Jagire. Sometimes we do night shift. Sometimes the boss says come overtime. You have to come overtime because we are getting time and a half. Etc. I can't come to the temple. I am working this weekend. Eshita atapa bata varishana edina yamini jagire. Doing what? Vifale sevinu kripana durjana. Vifal means some kind of a good result. And vifal means Not a good result. Vifale Sevinu. We are serving all these material bosses who are known as Kripan and Durjan. Durjan means rascals. And Kripan, what does Kripan mean? Kripan means one who is a miser. Now one may ask, why are they called misers? My boss pays me very well. I get 40 bucks an hour normal, and then 1.5 times 60 bucks an hour. That's pretty decent. So why you are calling him Kripan? Some may say, it's a great job I have. Kripan means, basically here Govinda Das is saying, Kripan means one who has got the highest wealth. And what is that highest wealth? Human body, Krishna Bhakti. And one who does not do that, that is a miser. He's got the highest wealth. In spite of that, he is not spending any time behind Krishna Bhakti. So we are working for such bosses. Therefore, he is known as Kripan. We are serving those people. Kripan, miser. We have what every human being. Krishna Bhakti sadhu karunai, shravanadi, hridaya chitta koroy uday, chaitanya charitamrita. Krishna Bhakti is there in everybody's heart. By listening, Shravan Adi, Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, etc., one will be able to manifest or re-manifest that bhakti within their hearts. If we don't do that, which we are capable of, it's like somebody who's got billions of dollars, and then somebody comes, knocks on the door and says, give me $2, get out, he says. I don't have any money for it. Scrooge, right? In Christmas, that trail is there. Some of the kids must know it. We learned it in school. So we are all these people that we are working for are like Scrooge. Although they have the capability of doing bhakti, the highest arthadam, they don't do that. That's why they are Kripan and Durjana. Kripan and Durjana, Vifala Sevinu, without any good result. You get temporary results. Okay, you made money, you have a house, everything good. But what will happen? What about the soul, food for the soul? What about the demands of the soul? No. Bhagavad says, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje. Ahai dukhiya pratiyata jena atma suprasiddhati. Very nice instructions. Srimad Bhagavatam says, the Savai pumsam paro dharma. We have so many different kinds of dharmas or concocted religions that we have. My duty, my duty, my duty, my duty, my duty towards my parents, my duty towards my son, my duty towards my this, towards my country, towards my county, towards my this, my province, this, that. So many duties. That is different definitions of dharma. Savai pumsam paro dharma. Paro dharma means the topmost dharma. What is it? Yato bhakti radokshaje. To devote yourself, pure loving devotional service unto you, O Krishna. Ahaituki, and what kind of devotional service? Not that we have ₹1, ₹1.25 नारियल ले जाओ मंदिर में और बोलो मुझे पास करा दो और मुझे नौकरी दिला दो. It has to be ahituki, without any material motivation. Sorry, I said it in Hindi. Some people go with ₹1 or $1 with some kind of karmakandi intention. They take a coconut and then they offer it and say, oh my, please, mera job lag jaye, mera ye ho jaye, give me a job. My son is going to give an exam tomorrow, please pass him. That has got some material intention there. But it has to be ahaituki, without any material motivation. And apratihata, uninterrupted. Not that today everything is good, I go to the temple, or rather everything is bad today. A lot of people who are very much in distress, they start going to the temple more. No, it has to be uninterrupted. Come what condition, I will never forget you. That's the real devotion. And then you will get Jena Atma Suprasiddhati. Then one will get fully satisfied. The self, meaning the Atma or the soul, will get the satisfaction. He's saying, E dhana yavana putra parijana, ite ki ache parati tire. In that bhajan. What is the use of your wealth? E dhana, e yavana. Some people are so proud of their youth. No one like me. I'm so beauty. I'm so handsome. I can stop traffic. That is the kind of mentality they have. Oh, get lost. You see, we see that sometimes. We see the attitude that some of these actors and actresses they have. But what somebody told me one day, I had taken a cab. I was in Chicago, and one cab. He used to drive a limousine, and he had to pick up Shah Rukh Khan from the airport and take him to the for that show. And he said, can you imagine, itna gira hua aadmi maine zindagi mein nahi dekha hai. He was so rude to me. He treated me like a dog, the way he was talking to me. Why is it so necessary? And he said that these people, they over abuse. Even, they have so much money. They take, these are the stories that he was telling me, because he was assigned that whole week. He was there. He was telling me that they abuse everything, like the facilities at the 5-star hotel, or even for like $5 or $10. They don't want to spend anything from their pocket, in spite of them being multi-billionaires in terms of US dollars. These people, if you convert their income. So my point is, people are proud of their youth, their looks, that I am this, I am that. So dhana, wealth, dhana, yauvana, youth, putra parijana. Govinda Dasa is also including children and relatives. Bhagavad calls the children, the relatives, known as Asat Sena. Everybody please say it.
Asat Sena.
Asat means? Yes. Means false. And Sena means army. So we think when and then it's tested at the time of death. You're there, somebody's dying, and everybody's there. Your whole Sena or your whole army is there. But nobody can save you. There is some pastime wherein they say that the Yamraj came, he was coming, and said, okay, you know what? You did all these wrong things. And now we have to take you to hell. He said, but you know what? I used all that money to feed my family. You should partake them too to the hell. So he asked, okay, fine. So he asked his wife, are you ready to come with me? Because they are taking me to hell. I'm going for sure. No. He asked his children, well, I gave you education. I put you through college and everything. I paid it out of whatever kala dhula maine kiya dhande mein. I did some wrong things in the business and I cheated people. But after all, I made sure you guys got a good education. No, Papa. No. You go. We'll pray for you. We'll pray for your soul. So the point is, that's called Asat Sena. So, dhana yavana putra parijana itheki ache paratiti re. They are useless, and honestly, unless and until they help you in your Krishna consciousness, let's be very point blank, they are completely useless. As a matter of fact, some of them are being obstacles in your life. It's so important. Srila Prabhupada always said that when you get married, you are supposed to be lucky enough so that your Krishna consciousness will double the strength. But sometimes that may not happen. And that is our misfortune. Husband is going in that direction, wife is totally devoted. We have seen those stories. Anyway, so I don't need to elaborate that. So point is, we are coming back to the bhajan. Dhana yovana putra parijana itheki ache paratitire. They are of no use, honestly. If they are not helping you in Krishna consciousness, no. Further he is saying, this life, think about it, he's giving a very nice analogy. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala. On the petal of a lotus. Let's say it is raining. It's a nice rainy season and the rain water is falling in the pond and there's a beautiful lotus. Right? And the water is falling. How much time can the drops of the water stay on a lotus leaf? Can anybody tell me? It's quick. The moment it falls, it stays hardly for a second or two and then it just rolls away. That is what our life is. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala. Any moment we can get kicked out. That is why. Is it only that only after 80 years death will come? Are we blessed like that? No. Death can come to a child that is just born. It can come to a 4-year-old. It can come to a 15-year-old. It can come to a 30-year-old. No guarantee. That is why it is said, as sure as death. There is a proverb in English. We are making so many elaborate plans. Like, okay, I'm going to go to this school. I'm going to try to get admission in Harvard. The parents have so much hope. Is it guaranteed that your child will become a Nobel laureate or he'll become an engineer? May or may not. Become a doctor? May or may not. You may invest $1 billion in a business. Can you say for guarantee for sure that you will make $1 trillion? You may or may not. So everything in this world that we are doing has no guarantees. But one thing is a guarantee, that we will die. True or not? As sure as that. Nobody can escape that. How many of us are making plans for that? Some people when we talk, I don't want to hear about that. They shy off when we talk about that. It's an important subject. That starts, when you think about it, that's real intelligence. Shri Prabhupada said, your success of human life is at the time of death whether or not you are able to remember Krishna. Otherwise, come back again. You may be lucky to come back as a human being, but definitely you are not going to the Vaikuntha or the Golok planets, into the spiritual world. So, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Bhaja Hun Hari Pada Niti Re. Therefore, I simply bow down to the lotus feet of Krishna and I surrender to the son of Nanda Maharaj. And what is the process of surrender? He is saying it's very simple. Same thing that Prahlad Maharaj tells us in the Bhagavad. Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana, Pada Sevana, Atma Nivedana, Sakhya, Govinda Dasa, Abhilashare. My only ambition is to follow the 9 processes of bhakti known as Nauda Bhakti. Shravan. Shravan is the first process. By hearing. Actually, you can see Krishna through hearing, through your ears. Our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas or Acharyas say that you can see Krishna through your ears. Ears, Shravanam is the most important thing. Once you hear something, you can repeat Kirtan. Just like a child. When he's born from the mother's womb, he doesn't speak any language, but every day he's hearing those words again and again and again, and then he starts speaking. So when we hear about Krishna, when we hear the holy name, then we start Kirtanam. Then Smaranam happens. It's a process. And Smaranam is very important at the time of death. If you don't do Shravanam, if you don't do Kirtanam, Smaranam is not going to happen. The remembrance will not come. And once you are at that stage of remembrance, then what will happen? You're building a special relationship with Krishna. You're complete Atma Nivedan. You're completely surrendered. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one of his Atma Nivedan songs, Manasa Deha Gya Jo Kichu Mora Arpilo Tuva Pade Nanda Kishora. Here also he's using the word Nanda Kishore. That shows that they are attached to the son of Nanda Baba. Whatever, Manasa, my mind, Deha, my body, Geha, my house, Jo Kichu Mora, whatever I possess, Arpilo Tuva Pade Nanda Kishora, I offer it to your lotus feet. Oh Nanda Kishore, oh son of Nanda, oh the youthful son of Nanda Maharaj. He goes one more step. This is the 14-year-old Krishna that he is referring to, Kishore Krishna. So, Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandanam, offering obeisances. Manmana Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Krishna also says the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. Offer my obeisances, think about me. But that will only be possible if we do regular Shravan, if we do regular Kirtan. Kirtan can be glorifying the Lord by singing or by even chanting the holy name. Sankirtan. This is the most important thing. In Kali Yuga, there are 4 different yugas and there were 4 different processes. The first process on Satya Yuga was Dhayado Vishnu, Tretayam Makai, Dwapare Parichuryanam, Kalotad Hari Kirtanam. In Satya Yuga, the process was Dhayado Vishnu. We used to sit, Rishis used to sit for 60,000 years in meditation, and the average lifespan was 100,000 years. Vishwamitra Muni, we all know that famous pastime where Shakuntala, what was her name, that Apsara, who came and disturbed his... Menaka, thank you. Menaka came and disturbed his 60,000 years of meditation. Is it possible today? No. You cannot even sit properly in meditation for 5 minutes. What to talk about hours or days? Dhayado Vishnu. Tretayam Makai. Then came Treta, when Lord Ramachandra appeared. At that time, Makai means Yagya. And the average lifespan, you take out 10, it became 10,000 years. But Yagya was done perfectly. It used to go on for months. There were Brahmanas that pronounced so nicely and they were so pure that the Devi Devatas used to come out of the fire and accept the Ahuti. Do we find such Brahmins today? Go visit. Tea drinking, tobacco chewing, cigarette smoking Brahmanas are conducting all marriages and all kinds of vidhis. How can you get that result? Think about it. Not possible. That purity has to be, that purity was there. Then came Dwapar. Dwapare Parichuryanam, when Lord Krishna appeared. And the average lifespan, 1 more 0 out, became 1,000 years. And Dwapara, maximum elaborate temple worship happened in Dwapara. Maximum temples were built in Bharatvarsh, in India. Every subdivision had their own temple. Like we all have our subdivisions, right? When the builder builds. And everybody used to wake up early in the morning, go to Mangalarti, all the people, their children, everybody. 3:30 in the morning, they are 4 o'clock, they are in the temple, they're doing seva, somebody's cleaning the floor, somebody's making garlands, and then they do the darshan, then they listen to some lecture, kirtan, then they go to work at about 7 o'clock, then again they gather in the temple at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, again they spend 2-3 hours in the evening, and then they go to bed. So about 6 hours a day on an average, people used to spend. Dwapare Paricharyana. Is it possible today? People don't even have time to come even once a week to the temple. Dwapare Paricharyana. But Kalotat Hari Kirtanam. In Kaliyug, Hari Kirtan. That is the process. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Very simple process. And Prabhupada has given this formula. If one is sincere about his spiritual life, there are do's and don'ts, just like a good doctor recommends for the health of a person, for the spiritual health. There are things that we should be doing and things that we should not be doing. What are the 4 things that we should not be doing? Prabhupada just did not imagine that. Imagine, Prabhupada, 50 years ago, he came to the West, July 11, 1966. That's when he came, and ISKCON was incorporated at that time. Sorry, 50 years of ISKCON. He came in 65, but the following year he incorporated ISKCON. And how much trouble he had to go through. Prabhupada lived in Vrindavan Dham 10 years as a sannyasi when he left his home. He gave up his family. Prabhupada had actually written wonderful transcripts on the translations on the Bhagavad Gita, handwritten. There was a whole pile. And one day his wife did not have enough money, so she simply took that pile and sold it as raddi. Prabhupada was furious because she wanted to buy tea and biscuits. When he said, "Where is my paperwork? All my work that I had done over the years, I sold it." Sold it? What do you mean you sold it? Then he made a decision, tea or me. And he walked out. He simply walked out. He never turned back. He took sannyas. 10 years he was in Vrindavan Dham. Very well situated. We are all planning, some of us devotees, as we grow older, or we would like to live in Vrindavan forever. Some people always say that. It's their desire. But here a sannyasi at the age of almost 70 years, leaving Vrindavan because his Guru Maharaj had instructed him when he was young, at the age of 22 or 23, when he had taken initiation, his Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace, Ashtottara Shada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, Prabhupada ji had said that when you get money, you print books and you preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English. And he said, "I am useless. Let me do something for my Guru Maharaj." He went to Bombay. He sat on the steps. He is a sannyasi. He is a bhikshu. He doesn't have any money. So he went there somebody said that you go to this lady, Mrs. Sumati Murarji. She is a Vaishnavi. She is in the Vallabh Sampradaya. And she is the CEO of the India Shipping Corporation. You go see her and she will give you, her ships are always coming to the US. All the time. So, maybe you will please request her. So many days he sat just outside in the sun, on the steps, because nobody would let him inside. Who's going to let you inside a big corporation to see a CEO just like that? Sometimes he used to beg the secretary, "When do you think I can come? When do you think she'll have 5 minutes?" How many times he did up and down, and finally when he met Sumati Murarji at that time, she flatly refused. "No, look at your age. These are cargo ships. I cannot let you on that. It's a very rough journey." And you know what he said? "Mataji, please, I beg you, I'll sit in one corner. I'll be okay. You don't have to give me any big berth or anything." This is the kind of compassion, this is the kind of love he had for his Guru's instructions. Finally, he would not give up, and then Mrs. Sumati Murarji wrote a letter to the captain of the ship. "Please make sure that he is a Vaishnava. Give him a good quarter if you can, and give him return trip if he's not well." Prabhupada did almost a 40-day journey in rough seas. He had 2 heart attacks. And at the end, one day when he was when the second, he was thinking, if I get a third attack, I'll be finished. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in his dreams. In the crossing at Atlantic, that particular portion of the sea was so rough. When Prabhupada was thinking, what will happen? If I get a third one, I'll be finished. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the sea became calm. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in his dreams, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, Prabhupada visualized that he was rowing the Jaldut ship, that big steamship. When he arrived at the Boston harbor, Srila Prabhupada, actually on Jaldut, he had written a wonderful poem in Bengali. And that was only found, how humble these acharyas are. He didn't display it, that, oh, I wrote this. After they left, they found it in his trunk. And in that, the essence of the poem is, he says that, my dear Lord Krishna, you have brought me to this Western world which is full of Rajo and Tamogun, full of passion and full of ignorance. How can I do? They have given me the title of Bhakti Vedanta. My God brothers have given me the title of Bhakti Vedanta. That is a very big title for a scholarly person who understands Krishna. Not just Vedantists, but Bhakti Vedanta. Very important. There's a difference there. They have given me this title of Bhakti Vedanta. So now you have to make my Naam Sarthak. Make me speak so that this Western world people will understand the language and the message of Krishna. My Guru Maharaj has given me these instructions. It is up to you how you can fulfill it. Signed by the most insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. It's that, if you all get a chance, please read that. Markine Bhagavad, that's what it's called. If you just Google it, you will see that whole poem. That is the bhav. That is the Shraddha. Prabhupada came to New York. He was in Boston Harbor, he landed. He said he didn't know where to go, left or right. He had 35 rupees or $7 in his pocket. An umbrella, 2-3 pairs of clothes, and a trunk of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He had one contact from Mathura, Mr. Agarwal. He went to Pennsylvania. From there he went to New York. And he didn't know what to do. He simply sat under the tree and he chanted Hare Krishna, and he gathered the people who were attracted to the holy name. And then Prabhupada, there was a place that they rented in 26 2nd Avenue where he started Bhagavad Gita classes. And then he incorporated ISKCON 50 years ago. And today what is ISKCON? It's amazing. We are here because of Prabhupada. We are here because of him. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. If anybody has any questions or anything, maybe I can take a couple questions. Otherwise, we'll do Aarti. Any questions or comments, of course? Sorry? Very nice. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai.
Prabhuji, in Dwapar, your age was 1,000 years, right?
Yes.
And but Krishna lived 125, 130 or something?
Yeah, that was end of Dwapar. And again, we cannot limit the Supreme Lord.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It is His sweet will. The average lifespan was 1,000, but again, as it diminishes, like I said, like Kali Yuga right now, what is the mortality rate? What is the average lifespan right now? Not even 100. But it is said in the Bhagavad that as Kali Yuga progresses, Kali Yuga is total 432,000 years. About 5,000 plus has elapsed, 428,000 years to go. So almost at the end of Kali Yuga, the average lifespan will become 30 years. It will diminish. Right? There is a prayana alpa aisha sabya. Kalo asmin rajan. In this yuga. Manda subandha matayo manda bhagya hi upadrataha. The lifespan will diminish in Kali Yuga, and people are lazy, they are misguided, and above all they are disturbed. These are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. So yes, that's a good point what you're bringing, that Krishna pastimes was 125 years. But again, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pastimes were only for 48 years. Back 500 years ago, people used to live 120, 130 years. So it is His sweet will. But the average lifespan at that time, in the average for the whole Dwapar was 1,000 years. Tika, any other questions?
Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki.